Some of the pleasant surprises that I encounter being a peer mentor would be how eager the students were um, to seek my approval and to take my advice and um, to find me when they had a concern or a question. And I think that goes back to setting up kind of the classroom as a very safe environment, and I proved to them that I was a safe person for them to talk to. Um, I was surprised at how they seeked for communication with me. There were emails and there were students, knocking at my door, and that it was a warm fuzzy. So
one of the things I was surprised with this first year group, this year specifically, was the fact that they were a quiet bunch. I mean, I was the first group of students to have the seminar class without a peer mentor, and my group was completely different from my peer mentor or my students' group. My group was very enthusiastic, energetic, just chatty, and not a very quiet bunch at all. Very, very engaged group. And I was expecting my group of students to be kind of the same way, but definitely wasn't the case. And talking with the other peer mentors, we kind of had differences. Like, some of those classes were quiet, some were not, but we kind of all realized that this group was a very interesting and different group, and it could be because of their cohort, because of all their experiences that they all had, kind of different from our own, but they were they tend to be a little bit quieter than past groups, and even the professors said that their seminar group was a little hard to engage, but some of them warmed up after a while, but my group was pretty quiet until the end, but they were engaged. They were just kind of the type that sat back and listened, as opposed to, oh, we're just going to jump right into this. And it was just very different, and I would like to say it was because of just like the cohort, because of the group that they were. I mean, their generation, just kind of different from one another.
I was surprised at, from the freshmen, learning that they were a lot younger than I thought, in academic issues that kind of, after your freshman year, you learn a lot that you take into your other years. A lot of the things they still had from high school, their study skills, their writing skills, things like that, and they didn't really think that things had to be, that they had to progress with those skills, but once they learned, it really clicked with them, and I loved seeing how fast they were taking things on and how eager they were to correct the things that they hadn't thought about before.
overall, my experience as a peer mentor was very positive. Stressful at times, but I learned a lot about teaching methods and just how to work with students in general, and it's had a lot of fun and got to meet so many new people and network, because now I have two professors for sure that would give me a letter of recommendation without even like a second thought. So it's very awesome because it got me even more involved in the university, not so much just residence life, but with what goes on the more academic side of the campus. And it's also positive because, like I said, I get to, I see my students around campus and it's a friendly face, and I just know more people, and I've made a lot of new friends. And it's just very positive for me.
Anything I would like to add, that being a peer mentor was the most satisfying and just unique experience I've ever had here at UWGB. I know that I've heard about the teaching assistantships and research assistantships, so I always know what to expect with those types of involvement. But peer mentor was completely different. We've all had we had goals for the program that we wanted, and then there was the individual class goal, and then the course objectives that we all wanted to make sure that we got done. And it was a very, it was challenging to do all three, and it was very, it was exciting because we had this new program and we wanted to do these new things. So it was good to see what worked and what didn't work. And it was just always a new learning process with the entire progress of the program. It was an entire learning process.
In the peer mentor meetings, along with our supervisor, all of the peer mentors could talk about different things that were working in classes, different things that didn't work so well. We could share ideas and thoughts about things. We could talk about students, and if students had other friends in other classes and how things were going with that, and we could really connect with each other as well as the students. And it helped me feel like I wasn't alone in different struggles, or we could all get really excited about some different things that we'd seen progress in. So it was really nice to connect with the students, and then the students who were being the peer mentors as well, to bring it all together.
One more thing I'd like to add about the peer mentor experience is that it wasn't so much about just learning about the students or getting to know faculty better, getting to know staff better. It was very much about learning about yourself. We learned how adaptive we were, how organized we were. We learned certain things that we would like to improve about ourselves, certain things that we appreciated very much about ourselves already. And I think that this whole semester, I think the majority of us realized that we grew in maturity quite a bit from the beginning of the semester to the end of the semester.
The peer mentor program, something I'd like to add to it would be that it's going to be a lot of work. It's for the peer mentor themselves. It's going to seem at first overwhelming, and then it'll eventually become more manageable as you progress through it. But for a peer mentor, something that they should understand when they get into it, that they need to continue working the entire time and just work hard throughout the entire process.